Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Political crisis in Jharkhand continues to simmer after former Chief Minister Champai Soren was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in the land scam case. Champai Soren has approached the Supreme Court today challenging his arrest, and the hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. On the other hand, Champai Soren, who is a close aide of Champai Soren, and he is still waiting for the governor to call him. He has the support of the MLAs, but nobody knows when the swearing in of Champai Soren will take place. Now, why is there a delay in the appointment of Champai Soren? And is there a malicious agenda behind arresting Champai Soren because he happens to be the first sitting chief minister to be arrested by the Enforcement Directorate? Is this some kind of a witch hunt we are seeing immediately as we are just nearing the Lok Sabha elections? I'm joined by Javed Ansari, senior journalist and editor. So thank you so much for joining. We have Siddharth Sharma, political commentator, joining us. Thank you so much. And we have Sunil Bhargav, who is the BJP spokesperson, joining us. Thank you so much. And let me begin with Javed. Javed, how would you really assess the situation in Jharkhand? What is playing out immediately after what we have seen in Bihar? And for the first time, we are seeing that a sitting chief minister has been arrested.
Look, apart from the fact that the sitting chief minister has been arrested, one, nobody's above the law. If Mr. Soren has broken the law, or if he's guilty of what he's alleged to have done, then he should be held accountable. But what I do fear is I sense something amiss in Jharkhand. There is something that is afoot which we can't place a finger on at the moment. And it's clearly a case of double standards. Mr. Nitish Kumar was sworn in within hours of resigning. Here you have a chief minister, Mr. Soren has resigned. They've elected his successor. They've all the supporting parties as well as the ruling party have given letters of support. He has the written support of 47 out of 81 legislators, and yet the governor is taking a month of Sundays to invite him and then to allow him to take oath. So clearly there is something amiss. Probably the ruling dispensation at the center is hoping to arm twist, hoping to break, hoping that some of these people will defect and they'll be able to bring down the numbers. I don't know. But this has just led to a lot of conjecture, lot of speculation. And I think the governor owes it to himself and the center that they should allow a government which has the majority to be sworn in.
Absolutely. Siddharth, how would you really assess the situation? Are we seeing some kind of malicious agenda against the opposition leaders, keeping apart the details of the land scam under which Champai Soren has been arrested? But as what all the opposition parties have begun to say, that this looks like a malicious agenda just ahead of the Lok Sabha election, so that all the opposition leaders are put behind the bars. How would you really make out of this political crisis which is brewing up in Jharkhand?
Yeah, Jharkhand is just part of the symptom here. There are many symptoms, and what really ails? Why is Modi government taking these kind of brazen steps? That is the main question here. It's not just about Jharkhand. Any opposition rule state, be it Tamil Nadu, you have an ED case in Tamil Nadu. You have an ED case in West Bengal. You have an ED case in Bihar. You have an ED case in Maharashtra. You have an ED case in Delhi. So most of the opposition rule states, including you have an ED case in Karnataka also. So why is BJP so brazen about it? On one side, if you see for the last month or so, because of the narrative, Ram Mandir, etc., if BJP is saying that they are confident of winning these elections, so why are they doing this? The reason is very simple. If I can take an analogy from cricket, if you see a tail-end batsman, he plays very extravagant shots. A top order batsman doesn't play extravagant shots, but most sixes are hit by a tail-ending batsman. So why does a tail-ender go so extravagant? He goes extravagant because he realizes his mediocrity. He knows that he is not there for long, and just because for whatever period he is there, let me make hay while the sun shines. So I think BJP is not doing this out of its own brazenness. There is an ecosystem of mediocres in India. They also want the same thing because they also are fearing the meritocracy of India. When I say meritocracy, the meritocracy of the political class. In general, when I say it's a meritocracy, I'm not speaking about any marks on an academic mark sheet, but meritocracy of the political class. This is an exact replica of the Trumpism that we are seeing in the United States. Even the conservatives, many conservative lawmakers know that what Mr. Trump says does not make a lot of sense. But the whole point is that without making that, if they don't stick to their guns, whatever they have, they are going to lose it. So I think the coming elections, the Lok Sabha elections, will be a test of Indian democracy in the sense that will collective wisdom prevail? Because it's nobody's case that in the past 10 years, on no metric, India has improved a lot. On absolutely no metric, India has improved a lot. There is unemployment is increasing. Price rise is increasing. Saving is decreasing. So the government's, as of today, in India, what all BJP says, that aside, every family in India has nearly 5 lakh rupees worth of loan on their head, taken not by them, but by the Modi government. So
we'll come to those details a little later, but I want to talk about the Jharkhand situation right now. Sunil, if I may ask you, why is BJP doing it? Just to send out a message that the corrupt will not be spared? And if that is the basis of this entire narrative which BJP is trying to play out, then the same questions can be asked of BJP. What happens to the corrupt people who've joined the BJP grouping? People like Ajit Pawar. There was
the first thing first. Niru, let me tell you, the first thing first. There is no role of the BJP in this. I agree partially with Javed, who started with saying that the law has to take its own course. If somebody has done a wrong, he cannot be led free just because he happens to be somebody in a political setup. So if that is clear, I think we can move around, because you cannot get a license of corruption simply because you are the chief minister or you are a minister somewhere. So he was given 10 notices. Yes, he did not respond to it. He knew that he did something wrong. The ED claims that they have very strong evidences on all 4 counts, which is the land grabbing, the mining scam, the coal scam, and the money laundering. You cannot expect a chief minister not to be so named, not to know any of these laws, even if he was a chief minister of Jharkhand. Now, coming to the second point, which Javed also raised, was about Bihar. I cannot equate Bihar with Jharkhand. Very simple. Bihar was not a case of corruption or any charges against the government or anybody. And the scenario in Jharkhand yesterday was that there was politicking, there was a issue whether Kalpana should be there or Champai has to be made the chief minister, and there are still rumors. So I know for sure that BJP doesn't want to interfere into any of the affairs. The governor has to satisfy itself of the majority and that there is no situation of an emergency or any
deliberate delay. I'll come to you, Javed, but doesn't it look like a deliberate delay? The JMM has walked up to the governor with the letters of support with 47, 48 MLAs. Then also, if he's not invited for the swearing in, what does it speak of?
No, but I fail to understand. Are we foreseeing a situation where, despite the majority, the governor will not invite? Now, governor has to satisfy himself. He may take a day or two. There is no issue on that. But where is the issue of any BJP interference? Law has to take its own course. Governor is there. He is a constitutional authority.
Right.
If there is a majority and if there is no constitutional breakdown situation, where is the question? We are preempting so many things.
No. Okay.
I think
now,
we cannot work on a presumption or preemption.
Just hold your thoughts. Sunil, just hold your thoughts. I'll come to Javed first. He was raising his hand, and then Siddharth also has a point to make. Yes, Javed, go ahead.
Look, they are the best place. The governor was ideally placed to ascertain whether the new gentleman has majority or not. When 47 MLAs were parked at his gate, he had first given them appointment and then suddenly on a whim cancelled it. He could have done a physical verification in the lounge.
Yes.
He did not. The second option is you do the majority test has to be done on the floor of the house. You swear in, give him 24 hours, give him 12 hours, and ask him to test his majority or prove his majority or the lack of it on the floor of the house. And what is the political here? The sitting chief minister has withdrawn from a coalition which he was heading. He went and resigned and then subsequently gave a letter of support from the NDA saying that now I should be sworn in. How is that qualitatively better than what has happened in Jharkhand, except that here also the chief minister has resigned, whether he resigned because he was fearing arrest or whether he was unwell or whatever, but he has resigned. So
Right.
how is it qualitatively any different?
Right.
You
All
can't
right.
have two yardsticks for the same situation.
Yes. Siddharth, Congress also had, I saw a statement from the Congress people saying that, they are trying to keep their flock of MLAs safe. They don't want to take any chance. So which means that are we suspecting that there could be poaching of MLAs and, there's a danger lurking of another Operation Lotus despite the numbers which JMM has?
Absolutely. I think you have to understand how BJP operates. BJP operates as a very powerful head of state. In Mr. Narendra Modi, it has an icon. So it thinks that other parties also operate the same way. You get the captain out and everything, pura Hindi mein bolte na, titar bitar ho jayega. Necessarily, that may not happen. And when I said about BJP's mediocrity, that argument holds very good that within 24 hours, there is a governor in a neighboring state who takes a decision about the majority of the MLAs being with Nitish Kumar within 2 hours, and in a neighboring state, the same BJP is giving the logic that he might take 2 days. So that is exactly the mediocrity of logic that I was speaking. And I think the BJP today realizes that there is a big section of India today who are not with them. Even BJP people would not be able to defend these kind of acts very strongly. But right now, BJP is playing to its hardcore gallery. That is what I am trying to say. That in spite of Ram Mandir and all these issues, if BJP is doing this so brazenly, that means that it is doing this only to keep the remaining flock of its together, because that remaining flock is mediocre. It knows that without being in power, they are nowhere. It is like a tail end batsman going hammer and tongs without understanding the ball. लग जाए तो छक्का, नहीं लगे तो आउट, कोई बात नहीं, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. It's a chance, it's a roll of the dice that BJP is playing, and that clearly shows that BJP is nervous about the 2024 elections. This clearly, if a party, it's nobody's argument, Neelu, that if a party which says that because of the entire Ram Mandir thing, because of the cultural nationalism, the entire India is with them, why is there need to go hammer and tongs against opposition in this manner?
That's a significant point which Siddharth has made. And Sunil, I would really want to ask you that despite all the big sentiment on Lord Ram, the temple consecration ceremony, today look at the budget, how confident Nirmala Sitharaman sounded that, look, we've done so much of development for all the sectors of the society, for all sections of the society. So why this fear? Why this... this care that, of putting all the opposition members behind the bars? Why this effort?
Neelu, I fail to understand the narrative that there is a fear. Do you advocate that the course of the law must be stopped if the elections are forthcoming? Are you advocating this? I fail to understand everybody trying to make out a case that BJP is afraid of. Why is BJP dead in the entire issue? BJP has no role to play. When it is a case of corruption, it is the ED which is taking whatever steps on the basis of the evidences that they have. Now, so far as the governor is concerned, it's a constitutional head of the state. He has to satisfy himself. Now, you are not even 24 hours passed and you are trying to make out a case. Now, thirdly, are we advocating that the law should stop if there is a election approaching? I fail to understand. Nobody in the country will fail to understand. If you are aggrieved, you have the courts, and court is going to hear tomorrow. What is so pressing today that you want to pressurize somebody or blame BJP for what it has no role in?
Okay, now let me get it. Yes, Javed. Yes,
Neelu, what we are advocating is a uniform application of law, not selective.
Yes.
That is what we are advocating. We are not saying that don't. I began my submission by saying that if Mr. Soren,
are you not wanting to give time to the governor to satisfy himself of certain things?
I want to give the governor the same time that the Bihar governor took.
Yes.
I want the governor to apply the same standard.
That is not your prerogative. It is the prerogative of the governor.
That's exactly the mediocre argument that I was saying about.
But Sunil, is that the prerogative of the governor, or is that the prerogative of the central government?
No, central government has no role to play.
Whatever time is being bought over by the governor, that time could be used for an Operation Lotus. That is what the fear is. There is no level for the opposition.
See, if somebody is fearing something, nobody can help him. Okay. Now, if the opposition, which I rate as a bunch of corrupt leaders formed as India Alliance, I don't know. They have to scratch each other's. They have to scratch each other's back.
But are you saying
that's the only option with them?
Sunil, are you saying that all the leaders in India Alliance are corrupt and all the leaders who are in the BJP bloc are very, very clean? They are very honest.
I'm not
Can I answer that?
I'll come to you.
Look at Lalu Yadav. He is an alliance. Look at Mamta. They are in the alliance. Look at Kejriwal or the Delhi government. Now, they have absolute clear-cut corruption cases against them. Now, if you want to argue that the law should not take its own course,
no, Sunil, but there are many examples of leaders who have joined BJP. They are equally corrupt.
No cases have been withdrawn against any leader who has joined BJP.
Okay.
Can you give one example where the case?
Yes. I'll try to simplify this. There are two.
Go ahead.
I'll try to simplify this. There are two Hemantas in India today. There are ED cases against both. One is from Assam, another is from Jharkhand. One is a Brahmin, the other is a tribal. One is in BJP, one is in opposition. One is made the CM, the other is put to jail. What more hypocrisy do you want more than this? The point number two, there is a system called Comptroller and Auditor General of India.
I'll come to you, Sunil. I'll come to you. Yes, Siddharth.
Why is that constitutional body formed? Simply because whatever the expenditure of the government does, whether it is done process as per due process or if it is not done as per due process, there is a constitutional body called CAG which looks after every penny spent by the government. Now, if a government is spending not as it should and somebody feels that it is there is some scam going around, it is for the CAG to find fault in it. But very strangely, in India, there is an anti-corruption law. BJP doesn't prosecute anybody under anti-corruption law. There is a CBI. BJP doesn't prosecute anybody under CBI. There is a Prevention of Corruption Act. BJP doesn't prosecute anybody under that. It especially seeks out and hoists only ED cases. Now, why ED cases? Because ED gets its power from the PMLA Act. Now, PMLA Act was made more stringent because of the global understanding that terror funding has to be stopped because terror funding has a money laundering angle. So everybody knows that PMLA means there has to be a terror angle. Now, strangely, none of the opposition parties where ED cases have been filed, the ED says that there is a terror angle. Now, that clearly is the very open giveaway that BJP is not on the front foot as it says. It is, again, I'm coming back to the same point. It is like a tail-end batsman going for extravagant shots. It is as simple as that.
I'll come to you, Sunil, but I want to ask one question of Javed. That Champai Soren has also gone ahead and registered a case under the SC/ST Act. He's saying that I'm a tribal and I'm being harassed. Now, can this give BJP really a tough time if a case is registered under the SC/ST Act?
Look, I mean, SC Act, it's fine. It's more a talking point. It's more a political point that he's trying to score because we are now Lok Sabha elections will be announced later in the month. So we are now in the run-up to those polls, and on the eve of these polls, this is just a talking point he's got for himself. So I more than an law and order, I mean, more than a legal issue problem, it's a political problem that the BJP has to tackle, especially in the state of Jharkhand. But because, like the gentleman speaking before me said, he cited an example which is very telling. There are two Himantas. One is ruling the roost because he's on your side. The other is facing the brunt because he refuses to bend.
Right. Right.
What
Absolutely.
can be more open and more stark than that?
Exactly. So, Sunil, how long will this political crisis perpetrate, and how long will BJP ensure that it keeps on continuing so that the television channels, they keep on showing this crisis and, project Hemant Soren as a real culprit, as a real corrupt man? How long will this crisis continue now?
No, I told you very frankly, BJP has no role. So I would refrain to comment on.
But it's hard to believe when you say that BJP has no role. It's really very hard to believe.
But coming to what Siddhartha said, coming to what he said. Now, who initiated cases against Mulayam Singh Yadav? Was it the CAG? Who initiated cases against Lalu Yadav? Was it the CAG? Now, we try to make a reference, forgetting that law has its own system. CAG is only to look into certain aspects of financial disciplines, right? They look at whether the budgets have been spent properly, timely, and in a proper manner, duly evidenced. Beyond that, if a crime happens in the anywhere in the country, it is the law enforcing agencies which have to take the case into its hand. And I fail to understand the argument that CAG is the only authority which can initiate any case of corruption or whatever. So, all right, you can only go and bashing BJP, or you can only go bashing Modi for whatever reasons. But then I can very clearly say BJP has no role in the crisis that is there in Jharkhand, either the criminal case against Mr. Soren or in any other activities that is going on there.
Okay, now I've just got a Hindi message, from somebody from Raj Bhavan in Jharkhand. I'll just read it out. They are saying that Raj Bhavan se Champai Soren निकल गए बाहर, राज्यपाल ने कहा है सलाह लेकर बताएंगे शपथ की तारीख. This is a meeting which Champai Soren had with the governor.
So if you had waited a few minutes, you would have got the answer.
No. So he's saying that he will take advice and then he will confirm the date. So Sunil, what does it mean? The governor can
advice from the advice from the Advocate General. Generally, the governor has to be advised by the Advocate General if there is a crisis. Okay, so Advocate General is a person who has to help the governor in satisfying and then to give a date.
Okay. So let me now get in the concluding comments from Siddharth and Javed. Javed, to you first, that now whose advice is the governor waiting really for? As he said that, and then he's going to confirm the dates. Is it the advice coming from Amit Shah or Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or is it actually speaking the Advocate General, as what Sunil pointed out?
Nilu, I'm very surprised. Whose advice do you need? If he's already decided to invite him, then what advice? Unless you want to take an astrologer's advice on the
Actually, yeah.
Because if he's inviting him, then where is the legal problem?
Right.
As the statement says that he's seeking advice on what date. So date ke liye what advice do you need, Baba? Unless you want to you consult an astrologer or some Vastu people, or whether whether the Mahurat is right.
People are not even satisfied when the governor says the date.
This justification is really laughable. Yes, Siddharth, to you. And once again, just to tell the viewers that Champai Soren has come out of Raj Bhavan Governor has told him that he's going to take the advice and then he will confirm the date of the swearing in. Yes, your concluding thoughts, Siddharth.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Jharkhand Raj Bhavan just reiterated how mediocre the BJP is. That BJP spokesperson just in this program said, have faith in the wisdom of the governor. And the governor himself is saying that I'm going to take advice of someone else. BJP essentially is in a catch-22 situation, because when it says that mera chal charitra aur chehra alag hai, it cannot take umbrage in what happened in past. It cannot take umbrage in past precedents, because it promises achhe din. And
So
Siddharth,
he is
nobody
nodding
can
his head.
step into the shoes of the
Let me
governor.
get in the last
You are
comments from him.
taking-
Yes.
You are taking a view as if you were the governor. You cannot step into the shoes of the governor. He has.
No, you said governor is a very wise person and let him take a decision. Now the governor is saying that I am not wise enough and I'm going to take your advice.
He has taken a decision. If
All
one
right.
is satisfied, if you
All
want to
right.
make a narrative, that is a different thing.
Now let's leave it to the viewers how they respond. But for now, the political crisis in Jharkhand continues to simmer. How long will it continue? We do not know, because the governor himself is not sure what is going to be the date for the swearing in. Champai Soren went to meet the governor inside Raj Bhavan, thinking that probably he will be called for the swearing in, but that has not happened. The meeting took place, but the date of the swearing in still has not been announced. Now, what's going to happen over the next few days? How long will it take? Nobody knows. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Sunil Bhargav, Javed Ansari, Siddharth. Thank you so much for joining. And one appeal to the
Thank you.
viewers who are watching this discussion, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.
Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.